Have you ever heard of the word ligate? It's the word that belongs to the Ilongot tribe of the Philippines. It was introduced to America by anthropologist Renato Rosaldo. If you haven't, don't worry. There's no one-to-one definition in English. Rosaldo described it as high voltage, a powerful energy running through his body. You've never felt this emotion. Maybe you could think retroactively and find an example in your life, but in that moment, you wouldn't and you couldn't have thought that you were feeling like it. This is because words define concepts. Think of concepts as labels on the boxes of data accumulated in your brain. Without these boxes, and without proper labels, nothing will be processed. Concepts are how your brain makes sense of the world. Every perception starts with a prediction. Because your brain is locked inside your skull, it has to get information from signals from your body. The signals that are sent up to the brain are merged and processed to create predictions about your internal and external environment. These predictions produce affect. Affect is not quite an emotion. Instead, it's composed of valence and arousal. For example, a high valence, high arousal emotion would be excitement, while a low valence, low arousal emotion would be sadness. Perceiving that affect, we take a word to define it, and here it becomes an emotion. There are many different networks involved in the generation and regulation of emotions, but the limbic system in particular is important. It involves areas like the thalamus, hypothalamus, amygdala, and the hippocampus. Together, these areas manage not only emotions, but they also motivate you to take certain actions, like eat, and govern part of your memory-keeping system. They're also connected to the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions like heart rate, digestion, breathing, and more. The regulatory function of the limbic system is what lets you process your emotions. It fine-tunes the predictions your brain made and refines your perception. And to do that, you first need a word. Words that describe or define emotions belong in your emotional vocabulary. Like in the ligate example, you can only really process emotions within this vocabulary. So, to have more control over your emotions and strengthen your regulatory pathways, you have to hone your ability to name them. There's some different ways to do this without having to actually place yourself into situations. For example, you can start by combining emotions you're already familiar with and thinking about how they turn out. Or you can try tracking an emotion through increasingly specific terminology, seeing just how far you can get. If you're on the imaginative side, you could write or draw scenarios where you simulate complex emotions. And who knows, maybe that nagging feeling you've had for years, that thumping in your heart you couldn't quite put a finger on. You'll finally find a word for it